What President Ahmed Bola Tinubu and his media handlers are doing is to validate the position of United States government and Donald Trump over the state of the country, Nigeria. You know, in recent days, in in most recent days, in most recent days, the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, has branded Nigeria a disgraced country. And with the foregoing, with what is happening, with the way Tinubu administration and his media handlers are handling this case, is affirming the position of Mr. Trump or the President of the United States of America. With the overwhelming evidence of mass massacre of Nigerian citizens in the first place, the government of Tinubu is denying the reality. Is Tinubu and his administration saying that all these videos, mass burials, are AI generated? The sacking of communities, which already the government of US has all these informations at their fingertips. Before Donald Trump embarked on this mission, he has finalized and made up his findings. He has concrete evidence with certified copies of whatever he wanted to do. He has the roadmap. There are surveillance. They understood what is going on, and they can tell more better than even the Nigerian government what is happening in Nigeria. Because there was a time one of their Navy SEAL, American Navy SEAL, was arrested or kidnapped instead along the Lake Chad Basin. America came, invaded Nigeria, rescued their military personnel, and without the knowledge of Nigeria, which means they have intel, they have the intelligence network across Africa. Even when you are living in denial, just look at what happened when the killing of whites in South Africa was going on recently, and the South African president was denying the reality. Trump invited him in Washington, D.C., and while he was denying, they were showing him video evidence and clips affirming the position. Then it was now done on South African president that he has been caught red-handed. There is no way of escaping, of denying the reality. He has been living in denial, trying to defend the indefensible, claiming that such things never happened. But when he was flashed the video, the pictures of what transpired, he was dumbfounded. So living in denial is affirming the position of American government that truly the killings are state-sponsored. Tinubu and his media heads or handlers are not helping matters in this issue. I've seen people coming to say there was no denying. The fact that you decide to live in your denial and deception does not dismiss the truth, the reality, the evidence, the abundant evidence. It is not just about Nigeria, where even regardless of evidence, you may not make a headway in terms of defending your justice and your right in the court of law. It's not about living in deception, delusion, and with criminal mindedness. They have the evidence. And now They are studying the position, the movement, the reactions of people who are in the corridor of power. And what I could deduct from what is going on, that indeed there is a conspiracy of silence on the part of the executive, on the part of the ruling class. If they are denying this reality, it means they have no intention of providing solution to this. If you are denying the normal reality, now saying that Mr. Trump was deceived by the reports of the U.S. congressmen, it means that U.S. congressmen don't know what they're doing, or they just dabble into issues without investigations, without dipping deeply to ascertain the veracity of such and authentication of such claims. You think that they are the system of rubber stamp senators that could be lobbied and induced, where money could be sent to their private accounts or to their emails for enjoyment and hardship allowances? They are working with concrete evidence. And you denying the truth means an accomplice. You are an accomplice. The government is an accomplice for denying what is reality. It means there is no remorse or sense of responsibility and acceptance of the failure, and with intention to provide solutions. Yes, if you will deny the reality, it means you have no intention of providing solution to that. That possibly you are benefiting from the gross violations and dehumanizing, inhuman treatment meted on the supposed citizens. You have the statutory obligation to protect. That is just what you're telling the American citizens and the world. The world are watching. Canada have joined America to demand for justice. Before the American position or the congressmen, the Senate adopted this stand, you know what happened? Canada was the first person to give a position that APC and PDP are terrorist organizations. And the Nigerian government could not come to debunk that with substantive evidence or charge Canadian government or attorney to international courts to prove their case. You see, while we are still, Nigeria is still grappling with that, and their public reputation, of course, has been damaged greatly in the Committee of Nations, having been considered as one of the most dangerous places for Christians to live in the world. That all the killings and persecutions of Christians around the world, that Nigeria has more than 85% of the killings and persecutions. And yet, here are people living in denial. What does that mean? You do not intend to solve the problem, because denying the problem, the reality on ground, means you are intentional about what is happening. Meaning there are certain elements within the corridor of power who are cashing out. Of course, with the humongous budget allocated to defense, security, and the rest of them, there are people who are cashing out on a daily basis. So they wouldn't want anything to stop, to breach such inflow, where Billions could be subverted and the rest of them to private individual pockets, and they are good with that. It doesn't matter how many people goes down. Look at, as I rightly said, are they denying the reality that all these killings with evidence, mass burials are AI generated? They never happened. So what is the basis of their position? There were no killings in Nigeria, that Christian communities are not being rounded up and killed, that the position expressed by the governor of Benue State, that certain senators serving and past senators, including governors, are sponsoring killings. This is not America. It's not Donald Trump that gave such position. This is one of the sitting governors, even under APC government or dispensation. In Benue State, the governor is a product of APC. He came out to say, isn't that a clear indictment on the government of Tinubu? That is an evidence that will make Tinubu's case very worst, and people are not helping him. People asking him to deny the reality, to deny the overwhelming evidence. They are roping him in. They don't meant good for him. Silence would have been golden, rather than trying to subvert the course of justice for the slain, for thousands and tens of thousands of people who have been displaced, who have been killed, and several millions of Nigerians who have been displaced from their ancestral home. These are Igbo origins, Nigerian indigenous communities. It's been reported about 500 communities in Plateau has been sacked. Not just sacked, reoccupied by the assailants, by the people who killed majority of this community, indigenous. And the records are there. The governor of Plateau State was crying, almost shedding tears. He admitted publicly that what is going on in Plateau is nothing short of sponsored, systematic ethnic cleansing. It is there. The Tinubu's administration heard him, where there are hundreds and thousands of people who have been killed and millions displaced, living in IDPs. So you mean that even the sitting governor of Benue State don't know what he's doing? He set up a panel of judicial inquiry, an inquest, to unravel what is going on. Community after community are being rounded up, local government after local government, and they are wondering who is behind these attacks, who is sponsoring them, who is backing the terrorists, who is giving them, of course, resources to flourish, logistics. The team eventually unraveled a very shocking and very worrisome development, that the people sponsoring them are part of Nigerian government, those in the corridor of power, those who call themselves lawmakers, honorable, but they are horrible in every respect, more horrible than anything you could imagine, sponsoring the killing, the massacring of communities, and you are saying that is a lie. And these senators, where did they hail from? Are they from the southern region? Are they of Christian faith? Of course, no. Of course, no. The answer to this question is no. Now, what was their motivation? What was their intention? Jihad, Islamic radicalism. So, will that also be a lie? Coming from the governor of Benue State and even the past governor, Sam Otom. During his time, you know what happened? He was even ambushed. They chased him, the chase of his life. He not only escaped, because the sponsors of this heinous crime are bent at overrunning the entire Christian communities, which one of the revered Reverend Father from Benue State testified before the U.S. Congress that Benue State is 98% of Christians living in their indigenous communities. But they have become targets of assassination, of annihilation by certain vested interests. Autumn Sam, the past governor, raised concerns. There was no sincerity on the part of the then president to fight these people, to fight insurgency. Rather, was abetting it from the back end, promoting them, giving them more power to unleash mayhem. Are those things not documented? Now look at Taraba governor. Even the Nigerian senators, the senator representing Kwara West, the senator representing Kogi West, the senator representing Kebbi South, at the Senate plenary also gave an indicting revelation. The Kebbi South said, our life is in danger. Was it AI generated? Kwara, of course, where the Al-Qaeda launched their first successful coordination attack on Nigerian soil. The senator over there has been lamenting, the escalations of this insecurity. And the government is aware of all these things. Needless to talk about the Kogi West that have been on rampage. Adam Oshomele from the north, those north, has also confirmed this. From Auchi has also confirmed this, that despite the military presence in some host communities, they are still being killed, targeted, kidnapped, abducted, paying ransom, and the rest of them. So who is now lying? Coming to the media, facing the camera to say, or putting a write-up to say that we reject this, we reject that. Are you being sarcastic? Are you being real? Does that make you human? Does that give you any sense of responsibility? An acceptance of guilt? Or you having a moral burden on you and on the government of Tinubu, saying that they believe the IPOB report and the rest of them? Is trying to shift blame, to create certain narratives, to cover up for their failure and inability and insensitivity. It is the height of insensitivity and irresponsibility on the part of the government and their media handlers. Nigerian citizens have been crying, wailing, protesting from the shores of Bayelsa down to plains of Plateau and the valleys of Taraba and the rest of them. People are being killed and massacred. Now, let's just say that not just all Christians are being targeted. What is happening to humanity, to the citizens of Nigeria? You don't know that the Nigerian government and Tinubu administration has the obligation under oath to protect the life and properties of Nigerians. When they fail to live up to her responsibilities, then they should be accountable to the world, to the police of the nation, to the defenders of fundamental human rights and dignity. You can't watch children being rounded up and burnt alive, and you are saying that is not true. Now, such person must be an accomplice. If you are denying the reality on ground, you are a more terrorist than those killing with the barrels of gun and the machetes in several communities. Because there is nothing that could convince anyone that you are not a terrorist. Rather than providing solutions or devising modalities on how to solve the problem, and you are living in denial, which means you are not having any intention of solving the problem. And that is a very worrisome development. Well, that will give America an opportunity to assess the commitments, the preparedness, and readiness of the government to fight. Which is very clear now that they don't mean business to defend the people. I think that the reason why terrorism is thriving because those within the corridor of power are backing it. With the hard-earned resources of the masses that should have been channeled towards productive investment on people's life, building infrastructures that will aid life and promote, of course, livelihoods, and the rest of them was channeled towards fighting and destroying life. Let's have your own take regarding this development. Definitely, America will come hard on these people.